M-E-S-U-S, Mendez, M-E-N-D-E-Z. I'm a public information officer for the Thornton Police Department. I'll be introducing Interim Chief Greg Reeves, G-R-E-G-R-E-E-V-E-S, Interim Police Chief for the Thornton Police Department. He'll take a couple of questions afterward, and then he's got other matters that he has to attend to, but we're glad that you were able to make it for this second news conference here this afternoon, reference this morning's incident. Thank you.
I want to start off by thanking you all for coming down here. I know that it's been a busy day for not only the police department, but also our local media as well in between locations. Before making either further comments on today's events, I'd first like to acknowledge and thank all of our partners who showed up to assist us today with the incident that occurred this morning. I'd like to thank the Thornton Fire Department, Westminster Fire Department, North Metro Fire Department, Brighton Fire Department, local area hospitals and their staff, the Adams County Sheriff's Office, Broomfield Police Department, Colorado State Patrol, Commerce City Police Department, Lafayette Police Department, North Glen Police Department, Westminster Police Department, the 17th Judicial District Attorney's Office, the Federal Department of Wildlife, and other agencies that I may have missed or we might have not seen up there today. And I'd also like to acknowledge and give a special thanks to the men and women of the Thornton Police Department. While our officers are exposed to difficult situations daily, today we were far too close to losing one of our own officers. And I'm thankful that these officers who were injured are now safe and expected to recover. As an update to our officers, one of our officers was treated at an area hospital and released after being struck with both glass and shrapnel. And the other officer is still being treated for serious injuries after being shot, but expected to make a recovery. A sequence of today's events is still being established, and we do not currently have all the answers, not even to our own questions. We thank you for your patience while we investigate and work diligently to determine the facts of this case. This investigation has been turned over to the Adams County, the 17th Judicial District Critical Response Team, and based upon that, the officers that did discharge their weapons today have been placed on administrative leave, which is standard protocol for the Thornton Police Department during this investigation. This investigation, being handled through the critical incident team through the 17th Judicial District, is made up of several law enforcement agencies throughout the Adams County area, and that the investigation itself is handled in a very neutral, with Thornton not being involved in the actual investigation itself. They will take on the investigation and determine the facts. The investigation continues as we interview people in the neighborhood. But if we feel that we have missed anybody, or anybody has information or witnessed today's events and is not being reached by an investigator, we ask that they reach out to the Thornton Police Department at 720-977-5069. That was 720-977-5069. And we obviously understand that today's incident has taken a toll on the community and will have an effect on others. If anybody in the community would like support for what occurred, please consider calling one of our victim services units at 720-977-5172. That was 720-977-5172, and we can get them in touch with the available and appropriate resources. And for that, I will try to field any questions, but understand as we move into this process, this is truly handled as an independent investigation. And members of the Thornton Police Department, we really stay out of it, and we're just kind of updated as the investigation continues.
Does your department have prior contact with this?
I have not been able to, I have not been briefed on that information as of yet.
Is Thornton Police able to release the name of the shooter at this time?
At this time, the person has not, we have not finished making positive identification, and that identification will be made through the Adams County Coroner's Office when it becomes available. You'd have to repeat your question, ma'am. Right now, we believe both officers were in very close proximities when the shots were fired at our officers. And so the one sustaining injuries from both glasses, we believe shrapnel, and then the other one did sustain a bullet wound.
You mentioned in the first press conference that the shooter shot at officers and then went back inside. Did he come back out at any point?
Yeah, this was an ongoing situation, and as I said, the critical incident team is putting together the facts of the case, and there's a lot of body cam footage, there's a lot of information that they're compiling in order to really put a sequence to these events. This occurred over the course of about an hour and a half as we attempted to not only negotiate with this individual but getting other resources up there. So there was a lot of movement both within the house as well as our officers around the scene during that time.
Can you tell us anything more about the two injured officers? How long they've been with the department, what their day-to-day assignments are, that type of thing?
I apologize, I didn't bring that information with me, but they are assigned to our patrol division out of what we consider our District 2, which is in the northern area of our city, out of our Fossil Ridge substation.
You mentioned that one of them was injured by a bullet. Where did that bullet strike that officer?
The bullet had struck the officer into the upper portion of the body, we believe close to the shoulder, but we don't have all that information as of yet.
The shooter, do we know at this time that he died from a self-inflicted wound, or did the officers kill?
That's undetermined. That'll be determined through an autopsy.
Was there any kind of note left behind, or did the individual make any kind of statement as to why they may have been behaving in this manner?
It's my understanding the investigators just got into the house probably a little over an hour ago. So you can imagine that it's probably a fairly large scene up there, and it's going to probably take a considerable amount of time to process. And therefore, we probably won't have that information available tonight or maybe not even tomorrow. But as that information becomes available, we'll work with the critical incident team to see what will be released.
And Chief, did your officers say if this man had said anything to them when they encountered him with that long rifle?
There was communication amongst this individual, but I don't know if it was directly at the officers or not. Those will actually come in the subsequent days as the officers are interviewed and debriefed through the situation.
This all came from a call that reported gunfire inside that home. Have you guys been able to identify anybody else who was shot at or even shot back at the shooter at this time?
At this time, we don't believe that. We did receive one call. We actually received two calls. One came after the fact, but we don't believe that that individual believed he was shot at, more or less just hearing the gunshots coming from the house and what he believed is a small amount of smoke.
Don said it was a rifle. Is there anything more you can tell us about this person's weapon?
We're not sure of all the weapons that may or may not have been used in the course of an hour and a half. We do know that the suspect did fire multiple rounds, but we don't know if it was all from the same weapon system or not. And we're going off of basically after our SWAT team had made entry into the house of what they could quickly observe before they backed out and waited for the warrant process.
Did he?
I think I know the answer to this, but were both these officers wearing vests?
It's my understanding they were.
And both wearing body cams as well?
It's my understanding that's correct.
Do you know if he attempted to go online and make any sort of statement about what was happening at the time of the shooting?
I do not have any of that information. I do, again, I appreciate you folks for coming out. And in the days to come, obviously, we will work closely with the critical incident team on the information that may or not be sought out by the media and the news outlets, as well as any information we have we'll be putting out either on Twitter, or if we feel the need, we'll be putting together another press conference in which we can come out here and meet with you. And I appreciate your time. Thank you so much.
One more question. Are you in contact with the family of the individual?
We have been today in contact with the family.
Can you clarify,
I'll take that mic, sir.
the officers went to
Thank you
two
so much.
different hospitals?
The officers ended up going to two different locate. Here you go, Vicente. Ended up going to two different hospitals.
So Good Sam and,
Another area hospital. I don't know just yet.
okay.
Thanks, guys. We appreciate you.
You guys ever